Hey, what's going on? So today, back in here, ready to continue with the rest of the teardown. I got some wiring and some miscellaneous stuff I got to pull out of the interior. Then I'm gonna probably make my way up to the front, into the engine bay, pull a lot of stuff out of there, show you guys what some stuff that I've found. It's funny because when I first got this car, I thought it'd be a quick, 2-3 month process. Get a donor car, whatever, flip it. And by flip it, I mean just, put it together, enjoy it, drive it. But the more I look at this thing and the more I dig in, it's pretty apparent that I'm gonna be stripping this whole thing down to a bare shell, a downward spiral. I'm gonna be doing a lot of things on this car that I haven't really done before, so it's gonna be a good learning experience. It's probably gonna be frustrating at times, but that's what it's all about. Learn new things, enjoy while you do it, and see what happens. It's gonna get a lot worse before it gets better. This car had a pretty serious fuel system before, but I didn't buy it with the fuel system. Everything, as you can see, is all spliced up, so I'm gonna probably replace this harness. Something that comes on every factory Saleen car is this build plate that's found in the engine bay. It basically tells you exactly when the car was manufactured, the build number, the model, and also the VIN number. So I think I have all the harness connectors disconnected, so now I can feed it through the firewall and then take up the whole body harness. Hey, what's going on? So today I'm just going to take apart the front end of the car, take the fenders off, remove the bumper, the headlights, the assembly, and all that stuff, just to give myself some more space when I work in the engine bay. I can also show you guys the inside of the car, show you what I found in there. There's a couple things I didn't like, so I have to fix some stuff in the engine bay as well, but that's part of the process. I mean, that's expected, so yeah, let's get started. So this is the brake setup on the car. It's the Brembo 13-inch big brake kit in the front with stainless steel braided lines. I'm going to take these off eventually, clean them up a bit, but they look like they're in pretty good shape. I don't mind the makeshift wheel spacer setup. I didn't buy the car with the original wheels, which are I think 18 by 9 in the front. Because I didn't buy the car with the original wheels, or the front spare wheels didn't fit onto the hub because of the brake kit. So yeah, we spaced it out just to get the car on the trailer basically. So it's also got the Coney front struts, racecraft suspension, which is the suspension that comes on the Saleen cars, made by Ibach. It's an upgrade from the stock Ford Mustangs. Front end of the car isn't in the greatest shape. Obviously it's going to be addressed down the road, but these headlights have seen better days. The completely smoked headlights aren't my style anyway, so I'm probably just going to toss those. front bumper is in pretty bad shape. I don't know how well the camera's gonna pick this up, but there's like spider cracks everywhere. The previous owner had a twin turbo setup on this car. He had these downpipes basically blasting out the front side vents. It's not gonna be the setup I'm gonna run, so I'm gonna have to figure out a way to either clean these up. Like this one's not bad, but the other side's a little off center. This side here, you can see the hole is actually off center, which is kind of a piss off because I lose a lot of material here along the end. So, I mean, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to clean this up, fix it up a little bit. Another cool thing on this car is the hood. This is actually the hood that comes on the S281E or S281 Extreme models. It's a pretty rare hood to find unless you have an S281E, obviously. But to have an actual, like, original S281E hood is definitely one of the things I like most when I picked this car up. Paint on the car overall will need to be redone at some point. It's got a lot of, nicks and scratches and things you'd expect on a 15-plus-year-old car. There's a lot of modification to the header panel that holds the bumper and the headlights in place. I'm guessing this was because of the intercooler and all the crazy piping that comes with a twin turbo into a Mustang engine bay. So basically this, has to be replaced. Like this shit's all cracked too. It's not really holding on to much. I'm gonna shake this thing. It's supposed to be mounted two here, two there, which are completely gone. There's a whole metal bracket here that's missing. This side is more of the same. Shake this whole thing, which is obviously not supposed to move. That's junk. Oh fuck. There's usually a crash bar here, but I guess I didn't get one. So one of the first things you'll notice in the engine bay is the bright red K-member. Obviously not original to this car. Basically the setup in here before was a tubular front suspension, tubular K-member, control arms, coilovers, all that stuff. So all that stuff was basically taken out before I had purchased the car. My plan for this car was to totally revamp the suspension anyway, so all this stuff you see here is definitely going to come out. Cut out right here. If I zoom in here, you can see a piece of the front frame rail is actually notched out, just chopped. That is a problem. And if we go to the other side, it is more of the same thing. Fortunately, everything else looks good. I was a little concerned with the frame rails being notched out, but I actually took a few measurements to see if there are any surprises, but everything is lining up nice and square. The measurements are all good, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm just gonna have to go in there and weld everything up. The two turbos were sitting roughly in the same areas where the cuts were made to the frame rails, but I'm still not really sure on why you'd want to cut the frame rail, Stuff like this, stuff like splice wires, I don't want to be chasing these wires all the time. I don't want, that one might be minor, but I'm just gonna rip this stuff out and then probably, I don't know. It's not going back in the car, that's for sure.